Doug MPA back on another video. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on the way in. I'd really appreciate it. It shows that you support me and the content on this channel. If you're watching this video, put in the comments, did you wait tables when you were younger? Did you work in customer service when you were younger? Um, Say yes or no. And if yes, let us know where you waited tables at or where you worked in customer service. I waited tables on and off for 10 years, all the way through undergrad and grad school. And one of the things I never understood was server wage. What is server wage? Server wage is if you're a tipped employee, you get paid less than minimum wage per hour. When I waited tables in Texas for a year, I made $2.15 an hour. So you're solely relying on tipping and the goodwill of others. And it was garbage. Well, DC passed Initiative 82 this last November that's phasing out the server wage. And I live in the DC area. I can tell you that the DC restaurant scene is one of the most profitable in the United States, but also is the DC area is the second worst tipped region in the United States, right behind Hawaii. People that work in Hawaii get tipped the least, but the DC area is a close second. So Initiative 82 is going to get rid of the server wage and even that out and make sure that businesses are paying their tipped employees minimum wage with the option of still getting tips. So we're going to go over this article. It's called DC's New Restaurant Pay Rules Are Already Changing Dining So Far, How Initiative 82 is Playing Out so far. It says, DC's dining scene is on the brink of becoming an expensive, soulless wasteland or, a bastion of fair pay where workers and restaurants thrive. District voters overwhelmingly passed Initiative 82 in November, and as a result, restaurants will start phasing out the current tip credit system, which lets businesses pay as little as $5.35 an hour and use gratuities to make up the rest of the minimum wage. And $5.35 an hour is crazy. DC is, I think it's the third or fourth most expensive place to live, behind San Francisco, Hawaii, and like Martha's Vineyard or something like that. It is crazy expensive here in DC, and they're going to pay you $5.35 an hour. So what happens now? The forecasts are largely one extreme or the other. One side predicts that increased labor costs will force restaurateurs to raise prices, cut staff, or close altogether, while tipped workers flee for the burbs or leave the businesses. The other side sees a future in which DC eateries continue to flourish and tipped employees, less dependent on the whims and biases of strangers, finally have some economic stability and face less discrimination and harassment. I'm on the side of the tipped workers. DC, I lived all over the United States, and DC people are just rude. Customers in DC treat customer service employees like trash. So I'm all for people getting the tip workers having a little more economic stability, and the DC restaurants team is one of the most profitable in the U.S., so that they can make that cost up. It continues, whose crystal ball is clear may take years to determine. After all, the move to a universal minimum wage system will happen incrementally over 5 years. For diners, the first and most obvious change will be service charges everywhere. Unlike regular tips, these fees are not legally required to go to service staff. Owners can use that money however they want. Everybody has to do a service charge, says Ashok Bajaj, whose restaurant includes Rasika and Annabelle. Everything is going to be looked at, some pricing, some service charge, some cutting back on the hours. Service fees started cropping up during the pandemic, some in anticipation of law changes. The Van Ness Bakery, Bread First, added a 9.5% service charge shortly after the election, is using the funds to boost base wages of everyone from cooks to cashiers even before the initiative goes into effect. Somewhere in this realm is the future, says General Manager Scott Oslander. And if we're going to start taking care of people better, which is the intention, then what are we waiting 5 years for? I did start seeing service charges on my receipt in the pandemic. And then I know people, they do Uber Eats and all these different food delivery services. You're paying service charges now. And I'm kind of biased. I would pay an extra, okay. One of the best parts about the DC area is it has some of the best food that you're ever going to taste in your life. They have those restaurants where they only do one thing, but they do it the best you've ever tasted. And these restaurants also provide an experience, and I think it would be worth an extra service charge. If they put a 10% service charge, 8% service charge, people are still going to go there. DC area is a rich area. 6 of the richest counties in the United States are in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. So let's stop capping here. It says, as much as diners might complain about the bill add-ons, restaurateurs believe service fees are less of a turnoff than price hikes, and I think that's true. It's an easier pill to swallow, says Adam Stein, chef and owner of the Eleanor in Noma. He believes the upfront sticker shock of a pricier menu would be more jarring than someone going, okay, I don't have to worry about the tip. It's already included. That's not to say that tipping is on the way out. Most restaurants with service charges keep a tipping option, making expectations for diners that much more confusing. Do you leave extra on top? How much? I would hope that people don't see a service charge as a tip. I know I don't. I've seen service charges, but earlier in this article it says the service charge has nothing to do with the server. It goes back to the restaurant and they can do whatever they want. So I'm hoping that as time goes on, they can make that different. They can push that difference in that little detail. It says restaurateurs could decrease the number of staffers they employ due to added wage costs, perhaps even replacing human service with QR code ordering or other automated systems. That's not something I ever would have considered doing that before, says Hank's Oyster Bar owner Jamie Leeds. Says, then there's the question of whether Initiative 82 will inflict larger damage on the dining scene over time. Some observers think restaurateurs will refocus on the suburbs. Leeds say the new rules mean she won't open more restaurants in the district. The margins are so small as it is, and this is going to cut into that. Come on, BS. I'm going to say it one last time. DC's restaurant scene is no joke. People go into the city, spend lots of money on a Friday, Saturday night. But don't freak out yet. DC will likely remain the epicenter of the region's dining scene. However bumpy things get in the short term, it's hard to imagine restaurateurs totally giving up on the city. So many things have changed over the years with costs and regulations, Stein says. We've had to adapt so many times, we'll figure it out. And that's true. Once again, the DC restaurant scene is very, very profitable. Everyone knows the best restaurants are in DC, and I'm all for this. Once again, put in the comment section if you waited tables before or work customer service, and if you want to put where, that'd be kind of cool too. I spent 10 years waiting tables. I think 7 different restaurants. I did my time there. I believe in the restaurant experience, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon in DC. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.